What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Behind the Glass Sports Podcast. We thank you guys for tuning in. Happy Saturday. I keep forgetting what day it is that we're actually recording on. Sometimes we do it on Sundays now. Some days it's Saturdays. So now I get confused, but today's Saturday. So happy Saturday. Happy Draft Day Saturday. As we're coming in to an end of the NFL draft. We got one more day. What, tomorrow? Oh, this is the last day, right? Yeah, this is the last day.
Today's last day.
So we're going to react to the Denver Broncos draft picks and talk some Nuggets. Nuggets just don't know how to lose. They just keep on fighting, even without two starters. But the big Serbian guy, he's not an MVP, apparently. But we'll get to all that. But of course, the big story today is the Denver Broncos draft picks and all that's coming along with that. They're finishing up, I believe they're in round 6 right now, which the Broncos don't pick until 219, I think, is their last pick in the 6th round. And then after that, they have a few picks left, 2 in the 7th round. But so far, I mean, we reacted to it. What was that, for Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, the first round pick. Patrick Surtain of Alabama at 9. Woo. Yay. Corners. Woo. You know what? I feel bad. We'll get to this. But I listen, our displeasure shouldn't be directed towards him because from all accounts, everything I've seen about him, he's a legit corner. Like, some people think he's probably the best overall cornerback in the class. He's got all the measurables you'd want. He's a bigger corner. He's long. He's rangy. When I watch some of like his highlight film and stuff like that, and like the reels, he reminds me a lot of Aqib Talib. Just kind of a longer cornerback, really shifty, isn't afraid to tackle. We know that's a big thing for Vic Fangio. So, yeah, Patrick Surtain there. Then round 2, Javonte Williams, who they traded up for, the running back out of North Carolina. I was immediately sold when I saw his highlight. I think it was against Boston College, where he just completely murdered the linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even have the ball. He just ran at him and just killed him. And I was like, yes, sold. I like it.
I brought him up when we were talking to Luke.
With Luke, yeah.
And so going into this draft, we didn't talk a lot about these players. On my own, I was watching a lot of videos, mostly on the quarterbacks, but also on the running backs, because I think a lot of people are confused on why the Broncos took a running back. A lot of people were upset, especially some people in the media were upset. Like, why are they taking a running back in the 2nd round when they could have taken JOK, the safety? I think it's Jeremiah Wosu.
Yeah, the linebacker.
Yeah, he's like a safety linebacker hybrid. A lot like maybe like Isaiah Simmons. He's kind of like that type of player. But that doesn't really... I don't think he fits in the Vic Fangio defense, because remember, Vic Fangio is about 150 years old, so he doesn't do any of those hybrid type of things. And look, the Broncos need a running back. We don't know if Melvin Gordon's going to be suspended or not, right? That hasn't been announced just yet. So he could easily be suspended for the first 3-4 weeks. What are you going to do? You don't have Philip Lindsay anymore. You got someone out of Minnesota, but he's like a 3rd string running back at best. So you did need someone. So that made a lot of sense. And going into the draft, it was 1A, 1B, 1C as far as running backs. Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, and Javonte Williams. Those were the 3 possible first-round running backs. And they all went basically in the first round, in the first 34 picks. So that's a great pick for Denver. There's no way Williams would have dropped to them in the 2nd round. I was hoping, I was tweeting back and forth with Cameron, and I think he wanted Jeremiah Wosu, the linebacker, and then I also mentioned, I was like, you know what, like, I wouldn't mind Javonte Williams either, but I just didn't think he'd get there. So them moving up to go get him made a lot of sense. And then what do? You in the 3rd round, you say, okay, well, we just traded up in the 2nd round. We gave up a pick. Let's trade down twice and get 2 third-round picks, because we know one of these 3 other linebackers are going to drop to us. And what happened? Baron Browning dropped to the very last pick in the third round. And that's a perfect linebacker for Vic Fangio. He fits what Vic Fangio wants to do. So I said this on Twitter. This is an A-plus draft for the Broncos. An incredible draft if they had a quarterback.
Right. There you go. I was going to say, I don't know. I saw someone tweet out that's like really in depth with the Broncos and all the draft stuff. They're like, if the Broncos land Aaron Rodgers, this was a hell of a draft for George Payton. Yes. If they do not land Aaron Rodgers, this was a rough draft for George Payton.
I wouldn't say it's a rough draft. It's tough because I like Patrick Surtain. I like going into it. I thought J.C. Horn was the better corner, just because I want my corner to be able to make more plays. So he's a guy that can go out and
you want a ball hawk.
Yeah, more of a ball hawk, a guy who can.
You don't want Champ Bailey, who they just don't throw to him at all.
Well, and that's the thing. It really doesn't matter, right? Because I guess it depends on what you want. So if you want someone who is a ball hawk, then you take J.C. Horn like Carolina did. But if you want an all-around corner who's probably the best all-around or the best corner in the draft, from coverage to tackling to size, speed, whatever, everything, then that is Surtain. So he is the best all-around corner, and he is going to be a perennial Pro Bowl corner for the Broncos for the next 10 to 15 years.
Maybe. I mean, if everything pans out.
If everything
that's what you
pans
project him to be.
Exactly. So it's not a bad pick. He is your Champ Bailey. It's not a bad pick. What makes it a bad pick is not who you took, but it's who you passed up on. You had Justin Fields dropping to you, and going leading up to that pick. What were we saying? If this Aaron Rodgers news came out the worst time.
Mm-hmm.
Because when that happened, all of a sudden it turned into, well, if we take Justin Fields, but then Aaron Rodgers becomes available, and we want to win now, we made a mistake. Because they don't want Justin Fields. What do you do with Justin Fields now? You let the 9th overall pick sit 3-4 years?
Well, I forgot who tweeted it out. I think it was I want to say it was Troy or Kliss or somebody, that the Broncos loved Justin Fields, but they loved Surtain more. And I was like, are we sure? Are we sure about that? Listen, I think this Aaron Rodgers thing completely impacted their line of thinking. Now, there's been some conflicting reports on, was there actually conversations? Was there not? I saw people, a person that works for, one of the local, more optimistic stations in town, tweet out that from his sources, there was never any conversations between the Broncos and the Packers. And that, it was really someone who was outside of the organization that kind of made it into a thing where, this deal is almost somewhat done. And then they contacted someone at 104.3 who also pumped it out as this deal is all but done. And of course, we know that wasn't the case. So listen, at the end of the day,
it could be, it could be all but done. It's just the Packers, the Packers probably pulled out the last second. And here's also the thing. If the Broncos are sitting there and saying, well, if it's true and Patrick Surtain was their number one player on their big board, which is completely ridiculous, that's a flat out lie. But if that was actually true, if you're the Broncos, don't you just say, you know what? If this guy drops to us, then let's take him and figure out a trade later on. Let's get our guys, because we have a lot. Look, the Broncos have a lot more holes than just quarterback, and using this draft to fill those holes instead of trading your first and second round pick this year and losing out on those players like a Javonte Williams, like a Patrick Surtain, even your third round guys and Baron Browning and the guard who the Division three
Minus.
guard who looks really good, but you lose out on getting these guys, the two safeties, because what did you trade? You were trading back. You used some of your assets to get these guys. So if you wait till after the draft, you can get these guys to fill all of your other holes, and then now look at this team. What do you need? A quarterback.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people too think that the Surtain pick makes sense because what was one of Green Bay's most glaring weaknesses last year? Well, it was their secondary.
Mm-hmm.
You get arguably the best cornerback in the draft. Maybe he's thrown in as a filler piece. Listen, at the end of the day, we wanted, I think I got swayed into it, but you have been of the mindset pretty much all year that quarterback is pretty much the way to go. I was talked into that, okay, I think this is the year they draft quarterback because of how much they spent in free agency on defense. You have all this talent on offense. You get him on a rookie deal with all this talent.
Mm-hmm.
Why not get it now? Especially if a guy like Fields or Lance drops to you,
Right.
do it. That wasn't the case. So now I'm of the mindset, listen, if you don't get either Aaron Rodgers or, and I know this is nobody wants to touch this one, but Deshaun Watson, say things get cleared up. If you don't get one of those two guys, then you're banking on a magical leap from Drew Lock, or you're banking on Teddy Bridgewater to, be a little bit better than what he's been in his entire career. That's not promising. Now, granted, I still think they could be a wild card team, but if you get a Aaron Rodgers or a Deshaun Watson, if everything gets cleared up, now you're a Super Bowl team, like overnight. So I don't know.
They're gambling. They're gambling, and it's a big gamble. Like if George Payton didn't have a 6-year contract, this is a gamble that gets you fired, right? This could end up getting him fired. If you lose out on Aaron Rodgers, you don't get him, and Justin Fields goes on to win a couple of Super Bowls with Chicago, or becomes an all-pro quarterback, and maybe he doesn't get a Super Bowl because Chicago's roster just isn't good enough. Well, you had the roster. Right. You had the roster here.
Right.
You draft Justin Fields, and Justin Fields works out, you're in the Super Bowl within his rookie contract. Guaranteed. Because you have all these weapons on offense. You have a solid offensive line. Your defense looks top 5, top 3, especially getting you're ready. You're ready right now, and so if you don't get Aaron Rodgers, it's over. This is something that gets you fired. So I'm
not going to go there because again, he does have 6 years.
Well, right, but but what I'm saying though is that contract isn't getting renewed. Within 5 years, right? If you don't get Aaron Rodgers, and they're the same team that they've been for the last 5 years, same crap, right? 7-9, 8-8, or whatever, 7-10, 8-9, whatever, same crap because you don't have a quarterback, and Justin Fields goes on to be, in the Pro Bowl 3-4 years. Maybe they get to the NFC Championship. Maybe they win one. Depends on their roster. But if he looks great, and like what a lot of people are saying is the second best quarterback in this draft class ahead of Zach Wilson, and you could have had him then you're not coming back. New ownership is going to say, dude, you passed up on Justin Fields, and look what he's doing. Yeah, you gambled on Aaron Rodgers.
If you ever get new ownership.
Now, if you do get Aaron Rodgers, then the gamble worked, and you're probably
you got 2 years.
I would say I would say you have 4, the same as Peyton. Because Aaron Rodgers for one is not coming off of 2 neck surgeries, right? Or 3 neck surgeries.
But you have to think of all the players that are going to be coming up at that time. Noah Fant.
Sure, but I think
coming up soon.
The same thing with Peyton here though is they were able to retain guys and then have guys come here on discounts. So I don't think I mean, look at Tampa Bay. They were able to keep every single starter. So I don't think I I would say you have a 4-year window. Obviously, your biggest window, your best opportunity, like the Broncos was that first year, and Hill Flacco ruined that. But that was they should have been in that. They should have made the Super Bowl 3 times in 4 years. And
Knock it down, Raheem.
that first year, that was the best team.
Oh, by far.
By far.
That might have been the best overall team in Broncos history.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
I mean, that
was
team.
insane.
And what's crazy is they weren't in that game because of Payton playing well or the defense playing well. Remember, it was Trenton Holiday who had 2 returns for a touchdown. So
2 of them.
that team,
we got Jacoby Jones
was insane.
Because we couldn't play prevent defense correctly.
Well, and also you weren't aggressive. You had the wrong head coach.
Yes. Well, the whole time. But
here's the thing. That worries
he's kneeling
me.
down 38 seconds left before halftime.
Right, and you didn't win a Super Bowl probably because you didn't have the right head coach. Well, the Broncos, in my opinion, don't have the right head coach. So you go get Aaron Rodgers, I'm not sure they win a Super Bowl because I think Vic Fangio blows it.
And that's the other thing. I mean, we talked to Luke Patterson a couple days ago, and I told him I think this could be a wild card team with the talent, even with Drew Lock. And he's like, I don't see it. And I'm like, what are you seeing that I'm not? And he's like, it's the coaching staff. It's Vic Fangio. Right, it's not the talent. So that makes sense. Yeah. Coach says all of this makes the Melvin Gordon signing look even more questionable. Well, I mean, that was questionable from day one, to be honest with you. But he's going to be a free agent next year.
Well, that's why
his time's going to be done after this year.
Yeah, a lot of people freaked out about trading up to get Javonte Williams. But if this guy is you got to remember that George Payton was there when they drafted Dalvin Cook. If this is his Dalvin Cook here in Denver, then and you got to remember Melvin Gordon.
I don't know if Williams is as explosive, but he's definitely more of a tackle breaker.
He doesn't necessarily compare to Dalvin Cook, but his Dalvin Cook in the sense of getting a star running back and bringing a star running back here because look, Melvin Gordon could be suspended. No, absolutely not.
You had one.
Melvin Gordon could get suspended, and you did let Philip Lindsay go, rightfully so. So you go out and get one of the top 3 running backs in the class. I think it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I don't know if he'll be a star though. I mean, I liked what I saw. But
I don't know if any of these guys are going to be a star, but I think he has a chance to. Absolutely.
I think if used correctly, which with Pat Shurmur we don't know because apparently he doesn't know how to use Philip Lindsay correctly. But I think, listen, this guy has a chance to be a player. Like he looks like a player. He looks like one of those running backs that when you hit him, you fall forward. Like he falls forward.
Yeah.
We haven't had a running back like that in a while. I mean, we actually did have one in Philip Lindsay. He liked to gain yards. But I would say the last one we really had was like CJ Anderson. You'd hit the guy and he would just pummel forward. Now, every hit CJ Anderson took, it looked like he was killed on that play. Like it was like death upon him, and it took 18 years to get up. But I don't know. I mean, I like the is it Javonte Williams pick? Yeah, Javonte Williams. I think he'll be nice. I mean, he played linebacker, so that tells you why he likes some contact. Before he played running back, he played linebacker. So I think that's a solid pick. Surtain, listen, I'm trying to differentiate my displeasure with the pick from it being about him to just being about the situation. So listen, I'm excited for him. If he's as good as people think, okay, fine. I mean, you can never have enough good corners in this league, pass rushers, especially in the division that we play in. If you're going to be facing Mahomes and that juggernaut 2 times a year, and you're going to be facing Herbert, if he's really what we think he could be, you need corners. You need guys who can cover. And if Surtain can be a guy that can take away half of the field, okay, I'm fine with it. And we know that they're going to have a loaded secondary next year. I mean, Kyle Fuller was a highly sought-after free agent. A lot of people are high on. If Bryce Callahan can stay healthy, we know what he can do. You add Surtain into that mix. I think Ojemudia kind of came on at the end of the year. He's got the peanut punch down pat. And then you solidify your safety room with Kareem Jackson. Obviously, you bring back Justin Simmons, who's a very good safety. And then, these 2 safeties that they just drafted, one of them, Jamar Johnson, and then the other one, Caden Stearns from Texas, could be, they're mainly going to be special teams guys, but there's a lot of good things to like about these guys too.
Well, as far as the safeties go, yeah, I think Stearns is more of a I think he's more of a backup to Justin Simmons, whereas I
The
think
thing with him is that he even admitted it on his Zoom is that his tackling's got to get better, and that's a concern for me. Like, I
yeah,
don't.
these guys, well, Stearns specifically, I think is more of a project, but I think Johnson, I think had some off the field issues or even on the field issues where I think he threw a punch on the field this past season.
We do that here in Denver. Our receivers fight.
Yeah, everyone
Keep to
fights it.
leave.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I
he fits
mean,
right in.
so I think that's why he dropped, but he's really, really, really good. I think he's your Kareem Jackson replacement. So
See, he described himself as more of a ball hawk on his Zoom call. So I don't know if he's a hitter.
uh
So
I don't know. I mean we won't know.
typically, if
We
you're a
won't.
ball hawk, you're not necessarily like a thumper.
Right. I mean, we won't see until he gets on the field. But I think that's where I think next season, if they don't go out and sign anyone and this guy works out, I think you're gonna see Justin Simmons and Johnson being your two safeties.
And then to round that out, before those two safety picks in the third round, they get Quinn. I think it's Miners, who played at Wisconsin Whitewater, a D3 school. I mean, solid run blocker from what I'm seeing. Could use some, at least from what I'm hearing, I should say, not seeing. From what I'm like reading about him, great run blocker. Could use some improvement in pass protection. But this guy was putting out videos of himself bowling over trees that were planted in the ground. So, listen, I'll take that. I mean, anytime you can get a human that can knock over a planted tree, sure, why not? Add him to the room. He's got a little bit of a belly. I like that. Fat boys, let's go. I love it. And then you get Baron Browning from Ohio State, who a lot of people
I love that pick.
are kind of high on. So
I love that pick. I thought Baron Browning was gonna be more of a second round pick. When I was looking at linebackers in that second round. So, yeah, I mean, I think what I would have rather have happened is that they would have traded down from 9 if they weren't going to take a quarterback and maybe get someone like Jamin Davis.
I think he went to Washington, right?
Yeah, if you could have got Jamin Davis and Javonte Williams and then the rest of these guys, I would have been really, really happy. But look, the Patrick Surtain thing, we'll have to wait and see. It doesn't make sense because of the cornerback room that you have. But when you look into it, Kyle Fuller's on 1 year deal. Callahan's has 1 year left. Ojemudia looked okay, but is he a starter? Probably not. So I
mean, he had good moments last year.
Yeah, good moments, but I don't. As far as being your first corner or your second corner, I don't think he's ever going to be that guy.
Yeah, maybe your dime, nickel package, packages.
So in this draft, I think George Payton did a good job of filling holes and adding depth and planning for next year and the year after that. As far as this year, he went all in on free agency. Most of these guys have 1 year deals, so he got Vic Fangio, all of his guys, on a 1 year deal.
It's a tryout.
And yeah, exactly. His actions have said this is a 1 year tryout for Vic Fangio. If it doesn't work, he's gone, and George Payton will completely reset this roster. He's gonna let Kyle Fuller go. He's gonna let Bryce Callahan go. He's gonna let Kareem Jackson go. Josie Jewell's gone. A.J. Johnson might be gone. Guys like Shelby Harris, who has a 3 year deal, but you can get out of that contract after 2. Vaughn is gone. Like, if Vic Fangio doesn't work out, then all of these guys are gone. Now, when you talk about getting Aaron Rodgers, that's where the issue comes about, because if you do get Aaron Rodgers, then yeah, this is probably your best chance because all of these guys are on 1 year deals. So that's where it's going to hurt you. But maybe that's why he took Patrick Surtain, because he knows if we get Aaron Rodgers and we win, Kyle Fuller's probably not coming back. Bryce Callahan's probably not coming back. We need a corner at that point. Yep. Patrick Surtain fills in. You grab a corner next year as well, and off you go. Or you sign someone. Kareem Jackson is probably gone if he plays well and they win a Super Bowl. He's probably gone. So what do? You draft 2 safeties. Makes sense. So I think I think it's a big gamble on Aaron Rodgers. It's a very dangerous game because George Payton's going to be here for the next 5-6 years, but if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, that's all he gets is the 5-6
Yeah,
years.
it's just a weird draft at this point, right? I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It turns into kind of a weird draft, but it's going to be fun to see. But again, I think we're both on the same page. If you don't come away with Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson, if things get cleared, then it's just going to be a potential wild card year, and then you're bounced. So
unless Drew Lock works out. Unless Drew Lock works out.
Unless you're banking on a turnaround from Drew Lock.
But that can't be what they're banking on.
It might be.
I don't. It doesn't. Well, if they weren't in on Matthew Stafford, if they weren't in on Carson Wentz, if they weren't going to all of these pro days for all these quarterbacks, then I'd agree with you that Drew Lock could be the Hail Mary, hope it happens. That's what we're gambling on. But they have showed you all offseason that they're looking to move on. So to me, this is Aaron Rodgers or bust.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it happens. There's a 0.0001 chance that Aaron Rodgers is a Green Bay Packer week 1.
Well, right, and they're trying to call his bluff, like the GM saying there's no way we're trading him and all this,
Yeah.
and
this is not the
play.
Russell Wilson situation. The Russell Wilson situation was easy to kind of fix because it was this is all just started for them, right? Where he's asking for help and they've kind of ignored it this last season or two. But Aaron Rodgers has been asking for help for the last decade. I mean, look at their first round draft picks in the last decade. It's all defensive players, and then your heir apparent. Like, yeah, he wants out. Makes sense. He's sick of it. He's done. He doesn't want to be there.
And June 2nd is the day to keep an eye on, because after that, then the hit is a little bit lower, significantly lower, and then they don't have to worry about that. So, I mean, they're playing it close to the vest right now, saying all the right things. I mean, listen, Green Bay's GM's not going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to trade him. Let's do it.
Right, that lowers your value.
Right. So they're going to push this thing out as far as possible. But I would expect this thing to heat up really as we get closer to that June 2nd date. But man, we need it. We need it. This is just us at this point. If you're a Broncos fan, this is just who we are as an organization. We don't draft. We don't develop. We just take other people's goods and we win championships.
And I hate it. I absolutely.
Sure. But if that's the only way you can win Super Bowls, that's the formula.
Well, and I was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, okay, would you rather draft a quarterback in the top 10 and have 15 years of success, you win one, and great. Like, you're in the playoffs every year, you make it to the AFC Championship maybe 3 or 4 times, you win 1 Super Bowl? Or would you rather go out and get a Peyton Manning for 4 years, go to 2, win 1, have 6 years of just torture and death, and then have another 4 to 6 years where you are the best team in your conference and you win 1 or 2? So it's 15 years on each side. You have 10 years of a lot of success. You win 2 or 3. And then, but the in the middle of that, you're 6 years of just pain and not even wanting to be a fan of the team.
Yeah.
Or would you rather have a long 15 years, you have your guy, he's great, makes it to a Pro Bowl every year, but you only get 1. What would you rather have?
Well, listen, I'd rather have the one that gives me a longer window. Okay, so I'd prefer us to be able to draft a guy and develop him and turn him into that guy. I prefer that, but that's just not the case here. I want the option that has a longer extended period.
Would you rather have? Okay, here's what I'm asking. Would you rather have had the last 15 years of the Packers or the last 15 years of the Broncos? Because that's where I'm getting at. Green Bay has been a playoff. Green Bay has been a playoff team for the last 15 years, ever since they got Rodgers, and they won 1.
I
The
think it's
Broncos have
unfair
had
to
15 years,
compare.
have been to 2, won 1. Record-breaking year, a lot of fun for those 4 years.
But then devastation.
But then you get Aaron Rodgers after.
And coach says you guys have 3 Super Bowls. Stop it. Well, technically we've lost like 5 too. So
Yeah.
but yes, we are spoiled in this country now.
Yeah, no.
Listen,
The Broncos, and this is what I hate about Broncos fans. They're spoiled. They're spoiled.
Yeah.
I hate Broncos fans. I'm a Broncos. I hate Broncos fans. I think
no, you're not a Broncos fan anymore.
I think 90% of Broncos fans are idiots. I do.
You turned in your
They're spoiled.
card on Thursday night.
They're spoiled little brats.
Yep. So
That's
you're
what
speaking
Broncos
as an
are.
outsider. You're a Chiefs fan now. That's what we established.
I'm not a Chiefs fan.
You turned in your card. Once they didn't take Justin Fields, you said, I'm submitting my card. You can have it. So I took it. I shredded it. There's no giving it back. Actually, for a distinct price, we can discuss negotiations about how you can get that back. No, I'd rather have. Listen, I'd rather have what the Green Bay
Crumble?
Packers
Is that what
had.
you're talking about?
Yeah, right. Exactly. You know where I'm going. I'd rather have what the Packers had because I think the longer you can have a window open and have that position solved, that gives you the best chance to win one. Rather than be the Broncos and meddle around for 4 to 5 years and then, oh, there's a free agent, let's go get him. And even though those windows, like, listen, the Peyton Manning window was fun except for the last year, even though we won the Super Bowl. Like, it was miserable watching him last year.
They got one. They got one, and that Super Bowl, but that Super Bowl that season,
it was awful.
It was it was the most. I think that's the most.
Week 6, you guys are winning the Super Bowl. I'd have been like, what Super Bowl?
That was the most frustrating year of watching the Broncos ever. Even these last 5 seasons.
One side of the ball, not the other side.
Well, yeah, but
the defense was amazing.
The defense was amazing, but here's the thing, and I'll always say this: that team got bailed out. That Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell did not play in that Pittsburgh game in the playoffs because Antonio Brown was the only player that torched that secondary.
Well, he torched Chris Harris. I will say this though: the Broncos were up in that Pittsburgh game, in Pittsburgh that they did lose that year. That Antonio Brown was going off. They were up at halftime, I think 10 or 14. So it's not like the Steelers like kicked them around. They did end up losing the game, but yes, that was like the one significantly
bad matchup.
Harder?
Like matchups don't generally matter in the NFL, but that was a bad matchup for the Broncos. And I
think they would have got him the second time still. I think they still would have beat him.
It's hard to beat a team twice. So yeah. I agree, but they got lucky.
Plus it was here too. So
that year was all about luck for the Broncos. I mean, they were healthy. They had an incredible defense. They had bounces. Von Miller had his the greatest 5-game stretch in his life that he will never have again. Like, that was the luckiest. Maybe not the luckiest Super Bowl ever, but that is one of the luckiest Super Bowls by any team ever.
Well, yeah, you gotta be very fortunate to win a Super Bowl. I mean, things have to bounce your way.
Think about the AFC Championship.
Doesn't see Gronk waving.
Gronk was wide open.
Side. Yeah.
The one time he doesn't look at Gronk. It's just it was lucky. And in that AFC Championship game, for the first time ever, you saw Peyton Manning run for a first down, like 10-yard first. Like, that was. That was the
self sacks those years too.
Yeah, it was.
The Manning self sacks were just my nemesis. Coach says, "Isn't that on Elway in his drafts?" 100%, 100%. He couldn't draft a quarterback, but it just spans the entire franchise. They've never been able to draft or develop a quarterback.
They've never been willing to.
They didn't draft John Elway either. He got traded here, so. That's part of it too. They've never been willing to.
They've cheated. They've cheated their way to Super Bowls.
Well, I mean, listen.
The Broncos are that
they
kid.
They had a chance with Jay Cutler.
With projects in school where the kid is just like, yeah, you guys do all the work. I'll step in the last second.
Yeah, I tweeted that. Hey, stop stealing my tweets. Stop stealing my material. I tweeted that. You don't get to take my material. I tweeted that. But yes,
I was going to give you credit.
Which kid? You were the kid that didn't do any work, weren't you?
Yes, I was that kid.
You're unbelievable. You're unbelievable. I was the student that did the work and earned the A. You were just the moocher.
Look,
You're a moocher.
No. I came in the last second and made it better. I made it perfect.
No,
You
you're
know,
unbelievable.
I saw the outline of it. I was like, you know what? If you change this and this and this at the last second,
People like you
boom,
disgust
done.
me. All right, you disgust me. Unbelievable. Listen, they had a chance with Jay Cutler, but then Josh McDaniels came here and ruined that. That would have been the first quarterback that the Broncos actually developed, drafted, who was a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler was good.
Mhm.
Was he great? No. But he was good. Could have had a chance with him. And then that got ruined.
But like any of these young quarterbacks, and I'll say I think all 5 of the first round quarterbacks all have the ability to be a Pro Bowl type quarterback, and maybe a couple of them will have the ability to will have the chance to be a top 5 quarterback in the league one day. But
not Mac Jones.
But it's not on them anymore. It's on the team. How do you build around? I mean, a part of it, yes, is on them, obviously, but the majority of it is on the team. The Jets, you get a hell of a talent with Zach Wilson, or the Jaguars, even hell of a talent with Trevor Lawrence. But if you don't give them the offensive line, if you don't give them the weapons, they're never going to succeed. Like, let's go back and look at Andrew Luck. If he doesn't go to the Colts, do you think they have more success, or do you think he's still playing?
Yeah, I think he's still playing.
RG3, if he doesn't go to Washington and has that awful offensive line and a coach that doesn't necessarily believe in him because he drafted Kirk Cousins in the same draft, do you think he's probably still probably? So it's look, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, even Mac Jones, they all who am I missing? Oh, Trey Lance. They all have the chance to be great, but it's on the team to put the weapons around them. And the Jets, I think, have done the best so far because with their first round pick, they take a guard, one of the best guards in the class, perfect. In the second round, you take Elijah Moore, I believe, one of the best receivers in the class. Like, terrific, great job. That is, look, they're not going to be good this year, but you are putting in the pieces to build around your quarterback. You're not just saying, oh, we'll just draft defensive guys and, our quarterback will figure it out. We don't need a good offensive line because he's good enough. He's mobile. He can run.
He can dodge 300-pound men lunging at him to take out his ACL.
But look, that's what happened with Andrew Luck, right? He had a terrible offensive line. The Colts didn't give him enough weapons. They didn't do enough to help him. He gets hurt. Says, do not screw it. It's not worth it. I'm going to retire. Look at Aaron Rodgers. They haven't drafted a skill position player on the offense in a decade.
It's been 84 years, like that gif.
And so what does he do? Well, I want out. Look at Russell Wilson. What did Seattle do with their first pick this year?
I don't know.
They drafted a wide receiver. I wonder why.
DK. I mean, they have a good wide receiver core, though.
Yeah, but
do they need another one?
But with the issues with Russell Wilson, what are you gonna do? You gonna be stubborn and you're gonna say, yeah, look, you're fast. You can get away. You already got weapons. No. Look, you're upset. Fine. What do you want?
Sure. Well, they drafted offensive line and wide receiver, but yeah. No, I mean it makes sense. But the Broncos' next pick in the 6th round is coming up here. It looks like they might have traded back actually. 237 now. It was 219. Now they have 237.
I think George Payton broke the record for trading back today.
Yeah, he just keeps. So you know what, George? I'm not dealing with your nonsense. But overall, you feel pretty good about the draft.
If they get Aaron Rodgers, it was a perfect draft.
Okay. Let's grade it. If they don't get Aaron Rodgers and this is a draft, what grade are you giving it?
If they don't get Aaron Rodgers, I would say I'll say B- because the only pick that I don't like if they don't get Aaron Rodgers is Patrick Surtain. But even then, you can't be mad at that pick because he's going
to be a starter eventually. Could have a significant role this year.
Yeah, and then he's going to be on the team for 10 to 12 years and make several Pro Bowls. Probably. You hope. But that's so I can't give it anything less than a B-. Now, obviously, things can change. Patrick Surtain could be the greatest corner ever and it could turn into an A+. But I just I don't necessarily like grading drafts because we don't know. Guys get injured. The team can screw these players over. The Broncos probably will do that. So I don't know. It's hard to grade, but I guess I would say like a B-.
Okay.
If they don't get Rodgers. If they do,
Okay.
it's an A++++ because you filled all the holes you needed to.
I mean, I think they got 2 players that are going to immediately come in right away and make an impact. In Williams and Surtain. Now, will they be full out starters?
I think Baron
Probably
Browning.
not.
I think Baron Browning is the third that will make an impact right away.
Yeah, that's a fair point. He's going to play on special teams too, you would think. And then also, Miners.
Oh, you know what? They
maybe he
have
sees some
4.
time.
They have 4 because depending on what happens with Juwan James.
Yeah.
I would say 4 that can come in and just and immediately be starters. So
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I think your grade is fair. C+, B-, around that area. But if you get Aaron Rodgers, then listen, now he's the cake and everything else is icing. So it's gonna be fun. We got a month to wait for our new quarterback. Hopefully.
I think
Hopefully.
if I had to pick now, I think they get Rodgers. I think in this moment, I think in my mind, I think there's a 99% chance they get Rodgers. Obviously, that can change. We don't know. We got a month for all of this, but I think there's a 99% chance because I think San Fran is out of the picture. Now you never say never, right? But
as the great Justin Bieber once said.
Right, but I think San Fran is out. I think they have Trey Lance.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
They've given up future first already. They have nothing to give. Out of the rest of the teams, Chicago's out. I could see Washington, but again, I don't think Green Bay. Did Green Bay trade Brett Favre?
Yes. To Minnesota.
Or was it the
Jets?
Jets? Was it the Jets? And then he went to Minnesota after?
Yes.
I don't remember. I don't
think
remember
he
what
got
happened.
traded to the Jets. I think.
If they traded him, if they traded him to Minnesota, then all bets are off. It could be an NFC team.
I don't think they traded him to Minnesota.
Then
because he went to the Jets first.
I'm pretty sure he went to the Jets first.
Yeah, he went to the Jets for a year, and then he retired because it was Favre watch, and then he came back and he went to the. He retired like 5 times.
Right. I remember that, but like I can't. It's all fuzzy. I can't remember what. Yeah, he went to the Jets first. So yeah, I think it's a 99.9% chance Rodgers is in Denver. There's no other. It could be the Raiders. It could be the Raiders, but
why? Why would you want to go to the? I mean, it's Vegas, I guess. I mean, that would be just like an out of football move.
Yeah,
I guess.
It doesn't.
They're not competing for anything.
I don't think Rodgers wants to. I don't think Rodgers would want that.
Well, I guess it just depends too. What's his mind? Like, what's his goal? Does he want to win more championships?
But here's the problem: if you're Rodgers, though, do you really want to play in the same division as Patrick Mahomes?
I don't think he cares.
Yeah,
I think he has an ego.
Sure,
I'll prove I'm the better quarterback.
If Aaron Rodgers, if the Broncos get Aaron Rodgers, are they better than the Chiefs?
I would say gut reaction, no. I would slightly put the Chiefs above them just because it's a new team. We got to see how all these pieces work together.
Yeah,
the Chiefs have the continuity with all their stars being there.
The one thing though is the defense. That's the one. That's the one thing where it's like, look, Vic Fangio doesn't know what's going on the offensive end. So if you just let Rodgers handle the offensive end,
sure,
then
it wouldn't shock me. Say that did happen, right? If the Chiefs won both meetings or we split one, but they finished with a better record in the regular season, but come playoff time, given health, the Broncos are the better overall team.
Right.
That wouldn't shock me. Just because, like you said, of the defensive prowess that we have. You know, the Chiefs last year, now they were and the year they won the Super Bowl, they weren't a good defense. They just played well on the day they needed to. Last year they were a solid defense. They still weren't great, but they were solid. The Broncos could potentially have a top 5 defense, and you throw in Aaron Rodgers, the bare minimum it should be a top 10 offense with the talent that they have. So you get him, you're right in the window. The window is completely open. That's been cemented shut, welded, bolted. There was no window anymore. No home existed there. It was depleted. It was death. We were in a prison cell. There was no windows there. That's where we were. Now there's a little bit of light. It's opened up. All right. We reacted to the draft. Still got some more picks to go. 3 picks in the 7th round. Probably won't be on in time by the time they do pick, because they have 237, 239, and 253.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, doesn't matter. To be honest.
No one really cares about those picks, unless you get Chad Kelly there. But unless you get Chad Kelly, then you got your next TMZ story.
It is a bummer that never worked out, because I would have loved to have seen him play.
That was my quarterback. The moment I saw him on NFL Network asleep on his couch as he was drafted, I was like, that speaks to me. Something about him speaks to my soul.
Oh, one thing,
and I will root for you.
One thing that about the draft, it was Caleb Farley. Did you see? He was in a room by himself and just staring at the screen when he got drafted.
No, I didn't see his.
I don't.
Who did he get taken by?
I don't remember, but that was weird.
He was just by himself.
Yeah, he was just by himself in a dark room. That's like, they're
kind of like serial killer stuff.
I don't know. That was.
They're like, let's cut to Caleb Farley, and he's just
look it up
in a dark room.
Look it up. Look at go on YouTube and
he looks happy to be here.
I wonder, like, I don't know, like, what issues there are or whatever, but that was weird. That was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Like, go look at, I believe it was Caleb Farley. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure it was Caleb Farley though. Oh yeah, it's Caleb Farley. He's maybe not in his room. He's probably in like the living room. But there's no one there. He's just
I want one of the prospects to just be in the bathroom.
He's not even smiling. Like he's just
sitting there, stone faced. That just shows you how ready he is.
Here, I will send you the video. And you can. I want to get your reaction.
He's ready for the moment.
But right, it's go just fast forward to like 20 seconds.
Oh yeah, he's just. Oh, he went to the Titans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's just okay. That's not that bad. I mean, he is standing by himself.
But he's the only where it was like there's not a single person there with you celebrating.
He's like, guys, it's happening. They picked me.
I don't know, but to me that's like, do you not have any good relationships?
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of weird because usually you see like tons of people and he's just standing there. I kind of feel bad for him now. Oh, that's kind of depressing. Poor guy. He's just like standing. It's like that John Travolta gif where you're just looking around.
It's like when you're in high school and you're graduating and everyone's so like you get your name called and everyone's name is being called and everyone's when someone's name gets called they're screaming and horns go off and then someone else's name gets called and it's just silence. It's very there's not even a clap.
That's all you hear in the background. Like, thanks, Uncle Jared. Yeah, I feel bad for the guy. Hopefully they just caught him at a wrong. Maybe the feed was just super delayed. Maybe his camera went out and they didn't have the updated live feed, and that was just a recorded feed before the draft, before anybody showed up. Or maybe he's like, I told my family it started at 8 p.m. and they're like, "Oh, we thought it was Eastern time." I don't know. I feel bad for the guy. Watch, he's gonna be a Hall of Famer now. And they're gonna look.
I
Listen,
hope
hey,
so. Look,
okay, you know what? Is anybody's draft video worse than Nikola Jokic's though? The man got drafted during a Taco Bell commercial. So at least they showed him. Nikola Jokic got a Taco Bell commercial.
I think it was the first safety taken off the board. I think there was a Bud Light commercial going when he was drafted. So
there you go. Speaking of Nikola Jokic, let's just get to the Nuggets here, because somehow they keep winning, which we didn't foresee happening, with Jamal going down, then Will Barton, Monte Morris as well. I think there's something like 14-3 in the month. Like they were 14.
Yeah, they had the best record in the month of April.
Yeah, and they keep winning. Now, granted, part of that is the schedule is a little bit softer, but still got to win, and you still have to win with 3 starters down. One of which is the second best player on the team. I don't know how they're doing it, but somehow now you're same loss record as the Clippers at the 3 seed. You're 1 win out. And who do you play tonight? The LA Clippers. What's on the line? The 3 seed. You win tonight, you own the tiebreaker, and effectively jump them as the 3 seed. And by the way, who has now the same record as the Philadelphia 76ers? The Denver Nuggets. So all you Philly fans,
if Jokic doesn't win the MVP, man, the NBA is...
It's rigged.
Not necessarily rigged. They're just
rigged. I don't really care. I mean, I do care. I'd probably cry, honestly. If I'm being real, I'd probably cry.
I'm excited to watch Jokic's MVP speech.
It'll be awful. And that's why I will love it. It'll probably go 3 minutes. I hope that they put the microphone in the stand for him. So 1 minute and 30 of that is him trying to wrestle it out of the stand. And then when he does get it,
it's going to be one of the greatest MVP speeches of all time, because it's going to be one of the funniest.
Yeah, I bet you he doesn't even dress up. He probably comes in his Nuggets practice shirt and his shorts. And he's just like, hey, you know what? I hope he brings one of his horses in town. And it's just standing in the back, and then the camera catches the horses pooping. It's just manure just falling on the ground as he's accepting
when does that happen? The first round? Or no. The conference finals?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it that late?
Well, no, I guess when Giannis got his, they were still in the bubble.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when they had. I mean, I guess we could look. We have Google up. Well, because it's the award night, right? Because it's the NBA awards. They have their own award show. So it's during the playoffs.
Yeah, I just don't remember what
it might
round.
Be like this. Yeah, I don't think it's the conference finals. I think it's
I think it's
maybe the first or second. I don't know. First or second round. It's playoffs. I don't know. So it's coming up. Coming up here shortly. But yeah, I mean, they have the same record as the Sixers now, so the Sixers can't use that argument anymore. So not only have you lost the record,
but they're the second seed.
Right. Well, and where would you be if you were with the Nuggets? You'd be tied for 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, but they don't look at that.
Right, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. You've lost the record argument. Your guy has played less games. We've established, yes, he scored more points, but he also gets double the free throw attempts. Nikola Jokic is right there with him in rebounds. He's got more steals. Only last time we checked, it was like 0.7 less blocks. His math, that NBA math chart. Do you follow them on Twitter?
No.
The NBA math account?
No.
Where it's like the analytics and all that stuff, and they put out a little chart every week of which player is leading in NBA math, and literally Jokic is literally at the top every time, and everybody else is scrummed together. So it's everybody in the NBA, and then it's Jokic at the very top. So it's like, even he's killing it in the analytics, he's killing it in the eye test, and the Nuggets keep winning. Now he's had to up his load a little bit, but listen, MPJ has made it very easy on him as well. I mean, with Jamal, it's been consistency issues. It's not consistency issues with MPJ. You roll the ball out, that's 20 points, 20 and 10. now it could be a bad shooting night, but he's going to finish with 20.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm curious to see what does his game log look like?
Oh, it's incredible. I was looking at it last time we were talking
It's
nuggets.
honestly stupid to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I think he scored. Here, let me bring it up. I think he's
23,
had
28, 31, 39, 26, 17, 21, 21, 25, 24, 22, 22, 18, 25, 20, 20. I mean, we talked about the stat. I don't know if it was the last podcast, but
he's a walking bucket.
Well, not only that, but he has scored double digits in every game dating back to February.
Mm-hmm.
I think was it this year? This year, like a 30-game streak that he's just scored double digits every game.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Moving forward, he should never have less than 10 points ever. Ever.
Oh yeah, if he has 10 points, he fouled out, got hurt, or got 2 technicals.
Yeah. I think the record, I think LeBron holds the record right now and still going. Because I remember when he got hurt, he came out real quick and shot a 3 and drained it to get 10. He's like, all right, I'm good. Now take me out so I can.
When he rolled his ankle, I was like, no, please. It was literally the Steve Carell video in The Office. No, God, please, no. When I saw him do that, I was like, oh, no. Yes, that was literally me.
God! No!
I was
Please,
depressed.
No! No!
Unbelievable.
No!
My heart dropped when I saw that. And then he got up and they're like, his ankle's fine. He'll be fine. And I was like, okay, but still don't let him walk on it. Literally carry him out on a chariot. All right. Austin Rivers, carry him out. All the new guys, Shaq Harrison, carry him out.
What was that against Toronto or New Orleans?
Toronto.
Toronto, okay.
Yeah. Or was it against New Orleans?
I was just wondering if he's already
no.
played a game with it.
I think it was against Toronto. But regardless, I mean, he looked great. And we've already discussed too. He's quietly becoming one of the better shot blockers in the NBA. He gets 1 or 2 of those a game where it's either a chase down or a guy blows by him because his lateral quickness just sucks.
Yeah, his last 5 games, he's averaging 2 blocks a game.
he just comes up and whoom, it's like a ping pong ball. Just,
Yeah, that Toronto game, I mean, those blocks were just ridiculous.
I mean, he had the one on Anunoby. He beats him, and he's on the left side, and and I was like, oh, wow. All right. That's like me swatting flies in the summer. I'm like, that's just what he does to the ball every time. He's becoming literally one of the best shot blockers at his position in the league. But he's made it easy on Nikola. And give credit to Facu as well. The others really on the team, they've all been playing well.
I want to say this. Austin Rivers, he hasn't been shooting the ball well.
I don't think I've ever seen Austin Rivers make a shot.
Austin Rivers is probably one of my least favorite players ever. I hated watching the guy. Yeah, I just didn't like him.
He was really good at Duke. I don't know why it didn't translate from Duke to the league. Like, he was a star at Duke.
Yeah, well,
he got to the league, he's just not.
I liked him when he was in Duke. I didn't like him when he was in Houston. Maybe that's because he was on Houston. I don't know. But I just didn't like him. But he fits really well, and it's funny because he reminds me of Jamal if he hits his shots. What he does out there offensively, he could work the 2-man game with Jokic. If he can start hitting shots, he can work the 2-man game with Jokic. Now Jamal's obviously he's like Austin Rivers is the poor man's version of Jamal Murray. But I think he does the same things. Now Jamal Murray can obviously hit tough shots way better than Austin Rivers. But I think it makes that gap a little bit smaller without Jamal. Now, are they gonna get to the NBA Finals with Austin Rivers? Absolutely not. No, hell no.
Possibly.
But I think it's a really good fit. I like what I've seen from Austin Rivers. I like his defense. He's worked really hard. Offensively, he makes the right plays.
You just can't shoot right now.
He just can't shoot right now. But you know what? We know he can shoot because I've seen it. I've seen him hit 8 threes in a game before. I know we all know what he can do. So like I'm not concerned about that, and he hasn't played in a while either. So if I would say, the rest of this season, if he can start to get up to 35% from 3, he's a guy that can win you a playoff game. We've talked about it, right? The others. Can they win you a playoff game? He's in that group.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going on with his stroke right now, but defensively, he's been really good. Shaq Harrison's been quietly impressing too. That's a guy who defensively, he's a pest.
Well, and him and Rivers out there defensively look great.
Yeah. I mean, they get after it. Facu's been looking good. Paul Millsap has been playing well.
Yep.
JaMychal Green has been shooting it better. There was a stretch there where he was just really struggling to shoot the basketball. But, I mean, those guys are playing really well. JaVale, when he comes in and plays in his spot minutes, hasn't been bad. Aaron Gordon's kind of taken a little bit of a dip recently. I think now you're starting to see with Jamal out, now he's being asked to do more things. So now you're starting to see, okay, when he's asked to do these type of things, this is where being new is starting to hurt him, because now it's like, to me, it seems like he's not as sure, he's not as confident at times of, should I take this? Should I defer to Jokic? Should I pass it to MPJ? And I just think his shot, he's struggling with his shot a little bit too. So I think there's some confidence issues there. But I mean, for the most part, this team has been playing really well. Give props to Mike Malone and Nikola Jokic and MPJ for stabilizing things, but the rest of the team has been playing well. And I think, and the Broncos drafted wide receiver, by the way, and the at 219.
Yeah, I'm looking him up. Seth Williams out of Auburn, 6'3", 211 pounds. Negatives, lacks a burst and plays at 1 speed. Not very quick in or out of breaks. Wins out for contested throw. What? Yeah, struggles to separate from opponents. Williams has been the go-to guy at Auburn the past 2 seasons and showed consistent improvement in his game. He's a solid possession receiver who will be a good red zone threat, and his inability to separate the routes or speed limits him. When I look at the Broncos draft, all I see is Aaron Rodgers. I think they're just getting guys. I think the team that they've built, like this guy looks like he can be like a Jordy Nelson type of, like a bigger receiver, a possession guy. Like he looks like a Rodgers receiver all day. Like a
lot of people are saying this is he's got some Tim Patrick in him and could be a replacement.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Ran a 4.5.
I think
6'3", 4.5.
Yeah, I think they're getting Rodgers. I mean, obviously it's up to Green Bay, but I think. I don't know.
Well, you get a wide receiver there. But no, I mean, the team has been playing really well for the Nuggets. Outside of that, they've been really well. Granted, the schedule has been a little bit soft. But I mean, now we're coming down the final stretch, and there's 9 games left. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. You got the away and away with the 2 LA teams, and of course LeBron comes back a couple days before the Nuggets play, which is of course how it has to happen. But you get the Clippers tonight. That's a huge one, man. That is a huge one.
Yeah, I mean,
at this point, are we worried about seeding at this point?
No, and I've been saying this ever since Jamal got hurt. I don't care. All I care is, what does MPJ do? How does MPJ play against the Clippers? How does he play against LeBron and the Lakers? That's it. Look, everyone talking about, the Nuggets can catch up to, or can get the 3 seed from the Clippers. Let's look at the Nuggets schedule. You got both LA teams on the road. Then you got you got New York. Then you're at Utah. Then you got Brooklyn on a second of a back-to-back. Then you finish the season on a road trip at Charlotte, at Minnesota, at Detroit, and at Portland. Now, granted, those teams aren't very good, but in those, you got Minnesota and Detroit on a second of a back-to-back.
Minnesota's playing better too. as of late.
Yeah. So it's not an easy schedule. Nine of those games, could they go 6-3? I could see them going 6-3. Yeah. But okay, let's say you go 6-3. Let's look at the Clippers schedule. You got Denver, then Toronto, you got the Lakers, the Knicks, and then at Toronto, at Charlotte, at Houston, at OKC. What? They should finish the season 4-0. They got 8 games left. So you would need them to go, if you go 6-3, you need them to go 5-4, and you need to beat them tonight. I don't see that. I don't see them going 5-4. I don't. So you're not going to catch the Clippers.
You might.
You might. You had, if you lose tonight, no way. But I don't see. Again, I don't see. If you beat them tonight, that's one loss. You need them to go 5-4. Are there 3 losses out of this group? Toronto, the Lakers, the Knicks, the Raptors, the Hornets, the Rockets, and the Thunder. I could see them losing to the Lakers, and I could see them losing to the Knicks. That's it. That's 3. Right? If Denver beats them tonight, that's 3.
I mean, would I pick any of those other teams to beat them? Probably not. But, I mean, maybe Charlotte catches them on a bad night, or that's a night where Paul George and Kawhi are resting. You know, something like that. It would have to be something like that. But it's unlikely. That's why tonight's game is so crucial. You have to beat them tonight, and then you got to hope the Lakers beat them, and then either the Knicks and someone else comes along. But yeah, it's unlikely. But I don't know. We don't know what their plans are. You know, if they aren't worried about seeding, who's to say that they don't sit Kawhi or
right? Well,
Paul
and
George?
here's the thing: Malone just came out and said that he's been asking Jokic if he wants to take a day off. So do the Nuggets care? No. Look, the whole seeding thing and trying to get to 3 or whatever, that's the fans wanting that. And look, I get it. I get you'd rather not play the Lakers, but let's look at the standings here. The Lakers and the Mavs are tied in the loss column. Are you sure that the Lakers are going to get the 5 seed? Because right now, yes, LeBron is back, but they just lost to the Kings. It's going to take a little bit. First of all, Anthony Davis is not playing well. Second, LeBron just got back. Here's the thing. If I'm the Nuggets, I think your best shot is actually playing the Lakers in the first round. Because the Mavericks, they're getting hot. They're getting hot at the right time. Luka's playing incredible. The last 2 years you've struggled against them. Be careful what you wish for. To me, the Nuggets aren't getting past the first round either way, in my opinion. I think your best shot is the Lakers. Because right now, Anthony Davis is struggling. I think you have the size to mess with AD. And I think you get LeBron at the best time possible because it's the earliest possible. So I don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters, unless the only way that it actually matters about seeding is if Denver can get to the 2 seed. If Utah just falls apart without Donovan Mitchell and you're 3 games behind them and they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so you would need to beat them, and I believe that would be the tiebreaker game, I believe. I don't know if let's see. Denver. Let's see. Yeah, I think they're
his injury in the next week.
Okay, I think they're 1-1 against each other. So they would have to go. Denver would have to win that game, and all they have to do. I still don't see it though. Utah has Toronto, San Antonio back-to-back, Denver, Houston, Golden State, Portland, OKC, and Sacramento. Denver would have to go 7-2, and then they would have to go 6-5. Okay, if they go 4 and or not 6-5, 6-3. I don't know. I think it's too little, too late with Utah, to be honest. I don't think it's possible. But that's where like getting to the 2 seed, I guess, would matter, right? Because then you're having to play either Portland or Golden State, or I guess not Golden State, Portland or Memphis. So I'll take that. You can win that series, and then you would have either the Jazz or the Clippers in the second round, preferably the Jazz. But even then, I without Jamal, I don't see them really losing to the Jazz. Maybe. Again, it depends on MPJ. So like to me, it doesn't matter as long as Michael Porter gets as much experience as he can, specifically closing games.
Yeah, it's really all that matters. I just part of me just still wants them to, because you see them win and you're like, well, okay, like listen, of course they're not going to do what they could have done with a healthy Jamal, Monte, and Will.
Mm-hmm.
But with those guys healthy, Monte and Will specifically, I mean, I think that's still a team that's capable of winning a first round series, depending on the matchup. I think that's a team that's capable of winning a second round series, depending on the matchup.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean, look, if you get to the 2 seed,
especially if Jokic continues to play this way and MPJ plays this way, well, okay, now you just don't have the luxury of having 3 guys. Now you got 2 guys, and listen, Barton and Aaron Gordon, that's still better than some other people's 3s and 4s.
yes, but the reason why for me that it's over is not that Jamal Murray's 25, 5-5 in the playoffs. I don't care about that. What matters is late game, because it's with Jamal and Jokic out there, they were better closers than Donovan Mitchell and Gobert. They were better closers than Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And honestly, I think they would have been better closers than LeBron and AD. That's what matters. Now, look, if Michael Porter comes out and he is hitting tough shot after tough shot, he figures out how to close. He can go one-on-one, hit a step back 3 on you with 2 minutes remaining, down by 1. Like, yeah, then I would say yes, they have a shot. But until I see that, no, they don't have a shot.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have to average 25 at least in the playoffs. Jokic is going to have to be around 28 to 30.
And look, Jokic can close. Like, Jokic can hit clutch shots. I understand that. But a lot of those shots come from playing the 2-man game with Jamal.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of those become tougher now without Jamal.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes it that much harder, right? You can't rely on Jokic to close out every night. You just can't.
Yeah. I don't know.
I hope tonight's close. I hope Kawhi plays. I hope it comes down to 5 minutes to go. It's a tie game. Let's see what MPJ can do. Because there's no Will Barton to take those shots. Remember, those close games, it was Will taking. I think Will took the 3 to pretty much win it against Memphis, I believe, right, or Portland. So it was Will and Jokic running kind of a 2-man game in a way.
Yeah, Will would turn it over on the other end and make a dumb decision, and then come back and make a great play.
Yeah. So we haven't had. They struggled against. I mean, New Orleans was weird because they were up by quite a bit, and New Orleans closed the gap. Like, if Jamal was playing that game, Jamal would have ended that. Like, New Orleans wouldn't have gotten as close to. No. So like that's just. You missed that. It's not necessarily hitting a game winner. It's 5 minutes to go. You're up by 8, and they're coming back. Can MPJ shut the door? Because that was Jamal shutting the door. Go back and watch Game 7 against the Clippers. The Clippers started to get on a little run. They cut it within 8, and guess what? Jamal hit a step back 3 in Kawhi's face. Boom. Game over.
Yep. It's going to be missed, but I don't know. Part of me with this team, I just never want to say die. And it's hard to when you have an MVP candidate and likely the MVP winner. So it just sucks, man. It just really sucks because they really had a chance to do something special this year. But now
I think
Aaron Rodgers to look forward to.
I think they would have made it to the NBA Finals. I think so. The way AD is, I have a feeling that I
I
see.
think they make it
I
back to
hate
the Western Conference Finals,
I
but I don't
hate
think they
saying
win.
this, but man, like I'm not worried. Like if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm not worried about LeBron. I'm worried about AD. AD, even when he was healthy, wasn't playing well.
Well, I think you should be kind of worried about LeBron. Because
I'm never gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that until I see it.
Well, we're 2 years in a row now, 2 or 3, of him having to miss extended periods of time
twice in
with
3
lower
years.
body injuries.
But he's back, and as long as he's
Sure.
healthy.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying now you're starting to see those pile up a little bit more.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, granted, it's a rolled ankle and it's kind of a fluky thing.
but now I'm not
still.
worried about it. Like right now, I'm not anymore.
No, but I'm just saying, like now the injuries are starting to be there, whereas before
Yeah.
they weren't there. You had the groin, now the ankle. Just saying, that's how it kind of starts out.
Mm-hmm.
That
Oh, yeah.
starts to decline. I'm not saying that he's fallen off of a cliff. I'm just saying you should. If I'm a Lakers fan, I'm like, okay, we should probably peg at least 15 to 20 games that LeBron's probably not going to play from here on out.
Yeah,
each year.
I'd
Or
agree.
if you just rest him for that amount of time.
Right, I
sparingly.
agree with that. But
With AD, he's had an injury history.
mhm. as far
Before
as
Lakers.
on the court though, as long as they're both healthy, I'm
No,
worried
yeah.
about AD
Yeah, he'll be fine.
because he hasn't played well at all this year. Like
Well,
I don't think
he's
there's been a
missed
game where he's played
40
well.
games.
Sure, but just saying. Obviously, look, the playoffs come around. They can kick it into the gear. They can turn
Right.
on that
That's
switch.
why I don't know why you're wanting them. You're calling them out. You want the Lakers. I don't.
I mean, I want the Lakers because I want MPJ to play against them. That's how you learn. That's how you learn how to beat these guys. You gotta
playoffs in general. Yeah, I
sure.
mean, they're not going to play against any bad teams. I mean, it's not like if he doesn't play the Lakers, he's not going to play against a good team.
Sure.
If he doesn't play them, he gets the Clippers. Or not the Clippers.
The Mavs.
Dallas.
Yeah. I will never I don't think either of us will ever forget MPJ coming down with the ball and hitting a 3 right in LeBron's face, and then right after LeBron was like, okay, no
We're
more.
going to stop this now.
It's over. And
It's what he did to Jamal last year in the playoffs.
Exactly,
too.
exactly.
We should stop this now.
Exactly. And that's something that okay. Say that happens in let's fast forward. Let's say the Nuggets are playing the Lakers, right?
Mhm.
And in game 1, MPJ first half has 12 points, 3 rebounds on, like
Kuzma.
yeah, on like Kuzma. Yeah. Or he has like 20 points in the first half, right?
Right.
And maybe at one point he hit a 3 on LeBron too.
Yeah.
And now it's like okay. And then in the fourth quarter, he has 28 points, 7 rebounds, playing great. And then LeBron gets on him in the fourth quarter. What do you think happens?
Well, most likely I would peg that for a win for LeBron. But if that's one game, then okay.
No,
I
but
don't think
what
LeBron
I'm
would do that
saying
for a
though
full
is
series.
but what I'm saying is okay, let's say LeBron shuts him down. Game 2, let's say the same thing happens, right? It kind of repeats. Game 3, same thing happens, right? Game 4, say you're down 3-0, the series is probably over, but in game 4, in the fourth quarter, MPJ puts up 10, even with LeBron guarding him. And let's say they win. That's a bigger improvement. Even if you lose the series 4-1 and you're down 3-0, that game 4, if he comes out in the fourth quarter after the first 3 games being shut down in the fourth, and in game 4 he puts up 10 in the fourth, and he puts up all 10 on LeBron, it's like, okay, maybe he's figuring something out. He's learning. He's getting better.
Sure. I just don't think he needs to do that necessarily on LeBron to have that confidence, to get that growth. I think MPJ is naturally a confident guy.
Sure.
So really any experience for him is going to be good. Now, if it's against LeBron or Kawhi or whoever, I think is good for him.
But it's not necessarily the confidence that I'm talking about. It's
the experience. But I'm saying he can get that
but when LeBron locks down, he's a top 5 defender in the league. When Kawhi, that's what I'm saying. When Kawhi locks down, he's a top 5 defender in the league, top 3, maybe the best.
And
now against the Mavericks, if it's
on a nightly basis,
but if it's the Mavericks and you got who if Tim Hardaway locks down on MPJ, he's gonna gain more experience. No, come on.
Don't you disrespect Dorian Finney-Smith's defense.
Oh yeah, so like he's right there with LeBron and
good
Kawhi, huh?
defender.
That's tough.
I mean, I
I'm
get
sure
what you're
it's not about
saying.
confidence.
I get what you're saying, but I think he could get that experience anywhere. Honestly, I do.
I disagree.
Now, yeah, does it make it that much sweeter knowing okay, I can do that against LeBron in these moments? Okay, sure. But I think MPJ feels that way
how
right
you're gonna
now.
that's how you're gonna win a championship, right? You're
Right.
not gonna win a championship by having Finney Smith go 1-on-1 with you late in
But I
games
think
and shut you down. Like,
If you asked MPJ, do you think if LeBron's guarding you in the fourth quarter of a game, a game elimination in the playoffs, are you confident? I think he would say yes.
well,
Of course
yeah.
I am.
But what else is he gonna say?
Well, yeah, a lot of people will say that because
But
it's the politically
But
correct
you know
answer.
what? You know what?
He's going to say that because he believes it.
Go look at how many points MPJ's had in the fourth quarter since Jamal's gotten hurt.
Oh, sure. Part of that's because they don't give him the ball. Part of that is because he takes bad shots.
I'm
even though
telling
they're
you,
good shots.
go back and watch I believe it was the Portland game.
I get what you're saying.
They had a handoff set. Jokic handed the ball off. Top
He's
of the
had a bad
key.
second half.
MPJ had a wide open shot. He
was a wide
went
open.
like 75% up, and then changed his mind.
It was wide open.
It was wide
Yeah,
open.
Before we close it, you know who LeBron doesn't do that to? Doesn't do that to Jokic. You know what Jokic said years ago when he gets
Yeah,
LeBron
I
on him in the
remember that.
post?
That was one of the
That's a mismatch for us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a mismatch. All right.
Well, yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, if AD is on him, I don't know.
That's a mismatch too. He scored on
Oh.
AD in the playoffs too.
In most cases, Jokic is a mismatch for anyone. But
Yes, except for Dwight Howard.
But here's the thing. Look, I love MPJ. I'm so excited for him to be here for the next however many years until he leaves to LA.
50.
I
How
cannot
dare you?
I cannot
wrong with you?
I cannot wait to see him in his prime. But it doesn't mean that I'm gonna be watching him every single game and saying, well, he needs to get better at ball handling. He needs to average 2-3 assists a game. He needs to be better in the fourth quarter. He can't shy away. He missed an opportunity to take a shot, to hit a big shot in a game where he was wide open. I'm not just gonna sit there and be like, oh, he's only 20. Like, if this team is ready now once Jamal gets back, so he needs to get ready because he's the only. Jamal and Jokic can get them to the conference finals. We saw it.
He's ready, narc.
But MPJ is the one that's going to get them to the finals. He's going to be the one that wins them in NBA finals. Whether he wins MVP or not, he's the reason.
Gosh, let him live. You're like a strict parent. So what if he wants to go out and hang out with his friends for one night? Leave him alone. Narc.
This team's ready
Anyways.
now.
Of course
I
they
don't-
are.
You know, yeah, he's 22, but they're ready now. It's not like
How cool-
it's
how
not like
cool
the
this
it's not
be?
like the past two seasons where with Jamal was like, well, he's only 22, 23. And is that a little unfair to MPJ? Yeah, of course. But this team's ready now. The team wasn't ready when we were waiting on Jamal. It wasn't ready.
Here's a scenario for you to end the podcast. Aaron Rodgers comes here, talking about the Nuggets and the Broncos having a championship window within the next 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, here's the thing.
Oh, man.
Here's the thing, okay? Jerry Jeudy. He's young, rookie year. He dropped a lot of passes. But he's young, right? We've got time. We've got 3-4, years, and Drew Lock, or if Justin Fields was here, we'd be willing to give Jerry Jeudy a little bit more time, right? Aaron Rodgers comes here. If Jerry Jeudy struggles, what's going to happen?
Well,
This team is
better
ready
tell Jerry
now. You need to
Jeudy-
figure it out now because
Well,
the
right.
team is ready now. We don't have time to wait on you.
Somebody better tell Jerry Jeudy before the season starts. Pretend the football is one of your Rolexes that I see you post on Instagram. Pretend like you're catching that and it's about to drop. You gonna let that drop? You're gonna catch that. Pretend it's that.
That's
So-
all. That's all I'm saying. The window when Jamal gets back is now. So MPJ needs to get ready now. There's no time
He's
saying,
ready.
"Oh, he's only 22. He'll figure it out."
He's ready. Man just put up 39 the other night. Bambi out there, and he just
who
falls
was that
into
against?
39.
Who was that against?
Portland? Toronto? Was it Toronto?
No, it was not
Can't
Toronto.
It was one of those teams.
It was. I don't remember.
It was one of those teams. It was
It
either
was-
Portland, Toronto. It wasn't the last game.
Well,
but-
Toronto was the last game. I think it was Memphis.
No, New Orleans was the last game. Oh, it might have been Memphis. That's who it was. Yeah.
Oh, Memphis. He had 31. I don't remember who that was against.
I don't know.
But
It was one of those games.
But yeah, it was not a very good team, and it was a blowout.
All right.
Yeah, he
I
can
gotta-
he can score 30 through 3 quarters easily. That's
I gotta
easy
say
for
this
him.
before we close. I'm just seeing this tweet come across. Mike Vick, at 40 years old, ran a 4.72 40-yard dash. At 40 years old. You know, back in my heyday, I ran a 4.5.
I don't believe that.
I did.
I don't believe that.
Yes.
I
when
have a
was-
video of racing Hector, and you fell.
I was in jeans. I didn't fall and I jumped.
No, you didn't. You
I
fell.
jumped.
You
I
flat
know,
out fell.
I
You were
jumped. I
leaning
will
too
not
far
jump
forward.
because
You were
I
leaning too
will
far
not lie to
forward,
you.
and you fell.
Hector was a little bit faster than I thought he was. So I had to jump, which I won, by the way, Hector. I didn't fall, I jumped.
I'm
Plus, I
pretty-
was in jeans.
You won. You fell, and 2, I'm pretty sure Hector actually beat you.
No, we don't have the footage. Never know.
I
I'm pretty
do.
sure I won.
I do. I can post it on Twitter right now.
Not true. No one
And
has
you
that.
can't delete it.
I won.
Mm,
I jumped for it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all that matters.
Mhm.
All right, that's gonna do it for us today. Have the Broncos made another pick yet? Or are we still waiting on that? All right.
No, but you
That's
know
gonna do
what?
it for
I've
today.
seen a couple highlights of this receiver. He's
Seth Brown?
nice. He's nice. He's a guy that you can
It's a
wait,
big body.
develop, and see what happens. You know, not this year, but next year and the year after.
I like it.
They're doing a
All
good
right,
job.
that's good. Go ahead.
They're
What were you
doing.
saying?
No, I was just saying they're doing a good job.
They're doing all right. All right. For Brandon Stoll on the other side, I'm Stephen Priest Jr. Happy weekend. Happy Saturday. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And that's going to do it for us today. Shout out to Coach interacting with us in the stream. This has been the Behind the Glass Sports Podcast.